day. This is Richard Wexler, and this is Caring in America, the podcast for caregivers and care recipients. Folks, the ones that have been with me for quite a while know my story. 20 years ago, married later, two small kids, and between my wife and myself, all four parents, we thought they were doing great, and boy, we were wrong. So all of a sudden in the summer of '05, we start getting phone calls. We wind up getting on that care train and not knowing how long we'll be taking care of the four of them. But we cared for them for 14 years until the last parent passed at 96 in 2019. Go back to '05, realized I could barely spell the word care. Learned a lot after that, started my first company, Points of Life, started educating people locally, and then eventually all over the United States. A couple of years ago, started this podcast. Earlier this year, launched a plan to age, really trying to help people understand how important, something my wife and I didn't do, how important it is to plan before an older loved one has a health event. We have a special guest with us today. It's Bruce Slough. Good morning, Bruce. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you, Richard. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Where are you physically sitting, sir?
Sitting in South Richmond, Virginia.
Wow. A lot of First of all, how's the weather back there?
We had our first cold spell this week, our first frost, but it's just glorious. Crystal clear, air is fresh, not quite as chilly, so it's sweater weather.
Perfect.
We are about 6 blocks to the south of the James River,
Wow.
that was named for King James because somebody thought it looked like the Thames River in London way back when.
So a lot of history there where you're living. Tell our audience a tiny bit about that.
Well, you know, Richmond, of course, was the capital of the Confederacy, but we also are proud that we are the home of more United States presidents than any other state,
Wow.
including the first president of the United States. So a lot of history going back to before the Revolution. But where I'm sitting is about 50 yards from a Civil War hospital in the dead. And there's a historic monument adjacent to that to say, here lay 100 of our fathers, and it was made by the daughters of South Carolina Confederate veterans. So a lot of history, and we're proud of it. We're a state capital, but besides that, we're really a small town.
Interesting. Interesting. So tell our audience about yourself. Who's Bruce?
Well, nobody where I work will let me get away with saying Bruce Almighty, and my wife doesn't either. But I'm a career information technology guy who 10 years ago started to look around with a Thanksgiving that I'd been able to provide for my family. And I just blindly stumbled across St. Francis Home, where I've been ever since for 10 years. And, I didn't know what I was getting into. And if I had, I might not have done it. But I felt a calling and an opportunity to give back. And it's really been an adventure and a fulfilling exercise caring for these elders that reside at St. Francis.
So that kind of leads me to my next question. Tell our audience about St. Francis Home and tell them the story.
St. Francis Home, now doing business as St. Francis Manchester, historic part of the Richmond area, the Manchester area, began in 1973. It's a mission of the Catholic Diocese of Richmond. So the Bishop of Richmond created St. Francis Home 52 years ago with the express mission of serving the underserved. So our location is in a part of town that's now gentrifying, but 52 years ago it was a little on the rough side. And so for most of our history, the residents and the staff members of St. Francis are from the local part of town. And in the Richmond area, there's a great big demarc back to that James River. And so everything on the south part of the James River has traditionally been sort of looked down upon as blue collar, working class. But we are so proud to be able to serve people that might otherwise not be able to go into a senior care community when their needs arise. So for 50 years, 52 years, we've had volunteers, uh, generous supporters, community partners that have supported us in our endeavor to provide assisted living services to 80, 90, 100 or so seniors that reside with us.
Wow. That's quite a story. And I mean, we've talked before. I really compliment you folks for what you're doing and I don't know if I want to use the word, the audience, the residents that you're serving. Um, because as we've talked about, we need more communities like what you're doing. We'll talk about cost a little bit and what the residents have to pay, but it is so necessary to make sure that across the board, people can find the care that they need based on their given economic situation. So, folks, as I always say, please make sure you share this information with all those around you. Bruce, tell people more about the community, how it's set up, what you guys are doing, all the amenities, all of that. Please.
Well, we have this fundamental belief that all of God's children deserve to be treated with dignity and respect from cradle to grave. And so here at St. Francis, we put a big emphasis on providing loving, dignified care for those people who reside with us. And, I think we're special. That's another way, maybe, of saying that we're not for everybody, particularly the staff. Part of my standard speech is nobody gonna get rich working for St. Francis, but if you resonate with our mission of providing a loving, dignified home for, effectively what's 80, 90, 100 grandparents, we think of ourselves as a family. And sure, we fight sometimes, disagree, but at the end of the day, we genuinely like each other. And so, our campus is older. We're trying to gussy that up, but it's clean, it's safe. I should have mentioned it's licensed. The state was in again today, making sure we're compliant with the voluminous regulations they have for assisted living facilities. But we strive to provide life enrichment endeavors for the residents so that they don't become isolated. Many people come to us after having been isolated, and their families say, "You're going to have to go and let somebody else take care of you. We have to work." So people will come, often under duress, but then quickly recognize that there's a bunch of people here just like they are. So they make friends. They don't ever miss any meals again. They don't ever miss their medications again. And they get to do fun things. You know, bingo's not for everybody, but a lot of people love it. But we do lots of forays around the town to, the Richmond baseball team, the science museum, the art museum, the ice cream shops. So there's no shortage of activities for people with a lot of variety so that they feel like they've got a quality of life that maybe they couldn't have had when they were on their own.
Sure. No, I mean, that's amazing. And what I talk about a lot, and I think you and I have talked about, unfortunately, as with over 100 million people in this country, 50 and older, and a lot of them not being able to either. I mean, most people, and you know this, they want mom to stay at home. They want mom to age there. They're going to pay for someone, or someone's going to pay mom or them to come in the house and take care of her. Mom probably is hesitant about moving to any community. Let's say she does, and then she wants to, and she agrees to, and finds out what the cost is. A lot of times that is too expensive for the family. So again, love what you're doing because I keep telling people, and this is why we put together a plan to age to try to get people to plan because one of the biggest issues, obviously, is the cost of care. And you made the comment someone may be isolated, and a lot of it, this may be because the family is saying they're going to help out. But what do most people have to do? They have to earn a living to pay their own rent, pay their own mortgage, eat, take care of their kids, etc. They may not live close to mom and dad anymore. And now they have to figure out how do we balance our life and our work and our family and also take care of mom and dad. And a lot of people do get isolated because of that, where the family thought they could be there more often, but they can't. When someone initially moves in with you, what is that process like? And also, you made the comment that I totally agree with. After they're there for a certain period of time, they're probably wondering why I didn't do this a lot sooner. Can you talk about that process and then kind of how you see people transition to this is pretty nice?
Well, the money thing scares everybody,
Yes.
you know, within our scope of who we want to serve. People might have a house, they might have worked, but I heard a metric one time. So many people are one car repair bill away from not having enough to pay the
Yeah,
bills.
you're right.
So the family's concerned, the individual's concerned about the money. And so that's often the case on why they even consider having mom leave her home, having dad leave his home, because they don't want to.
Yes.
But it's clear that their needs are getting to the point where somebody got to help them. So people often come here with concerns, often come with resentment that the family finally intervened. Uh, but back to the transition, it's always a tough start.
Mhm.
But then what happens very quickly is the new resident sees 80, 90 other people that are a lot like them.
Yes.
And I think one of the gifts of our elder years is our ego becomes manageable. And you're sitting in the dining room and you see somebody that you might not have wanted to even associate with at one point in your life, but that person smiles, says hello, and you find out that they're taking the same meds that you are, or that you saw them at the outings that we had, the movie in the community space. And so the friendships begin to grow. It is a process. I'm out on the stump all the time looking for partners, supporters, and I always lead with the same story. If your family's got a loved one and everybody's worried about the money, because it is expensive, what St. Francis is all about is something less than half the going rate. And it's because for 50 years we have been cultivating partnerships with businesses and organizations and individuals that recognize that but for the grace of God, there goes you and me.
Yeah. No, that's why, that, again, why I applaud you and what you're doing. And folks, that's why I want you to share this. And Bruce knows this because we've talked about it. We need more communities like his all around the country. We need not only the Hilton of assisted livings where someone could be paying 12,000 or more a month. We'll talk about Bruce's cost in a second, but we need more affordable type communities with the amenities they're providing people, because we have people, and we all know this, of every economic situation in this country. People that have struggled, people that have done okay, and people that are doing extremely well. And we have to find a way to house them. With that said, can you describe what the rooms look like and then what the costs are to the resident?
Well, I can. We are, if nothing else, modest. So our rooms are going to be 150 square feet.
Okay.
Some have a private bathroom. Most have a shared bathroom. So that's a leap for some families. Other families, they don't mind that at all.
Sure.
Um, Especially when they start to calculate the cost of care.
Yeah.
So our room rates range from about $2,000 a month to about $4,000 a month. And I hasten to add that we have always been one-stop shopping. So we still are able to say no extra charges. So housekeeping is included. The meals are included, and the meals are really good, by the way. Medication management, that's included. Care aids, that's included. One price for everything. And so at a range of 2,000 for shared bathrooms, 4,000 for maybe a semi-private bathroom. We think we're well below half the going rate when you throw in all the others that are add-ons for most other assisted living communities.
I would definitely agree with you, folks. And the numbers we use within a plan to age, average cost out there for a community just to get a room is about 5,000. So more than double what Bruce is talking about for their rooms in the $2,000 range. And then on top of that, something he's not doing, on top of that, for most assisted livings, you have to add the price, the cost of care on top of that 5,000 a month. And as we've talked about in bigger cities around the country, you're probably talking six, seven, $8,000 a month, plus the cost of care on top of that for a room. So again, I really applaud Bruce. I applaud what they're doing. Um, Folks, if you know others that would like to reach out to Bruce for a multitude of reasons, number one, they have someone that would like to live there. Two, they'd like to talk to him more about trying to duplicate what he's doing in other parts of the country. Let's go back to what I said 20 or so minutes ago. They have over 100 million. I think the AARP states it's around 125 million people that are 50 and older, and the oldest baby boomers, born in 1946, 80 years old, will be starting in January. So that's insane. Talk about I'm 72. I'm still a few years away from that, but we talk about it used to be yo-yos and yo-yos and hula hoops. Now it's walkers and wheelchairs. So our life has definitely changed. But as we get ready to wrap up, Bruce, if people do want to reach out to you, and hopefully they do have mom or dad that would love to talk to you about moving in, please give some contact information, website, email, phone number, whatever you'd like to give out.
Well, simplest is the phone. I'm the only Bruce here. 804-231-1043. There's a lot of good information about what we do, how we do it, how to get admission on our website. St. Francis, Saint spelled out, Francis with an I, not an E, St. Francis RVA, Richmond, Virginia, .org. stfrancisrva.org. It's all there. And, email works too. You can find that on the website. Or it's bslough at stfrancisrva.org. BSLOUGH at stfrancisrva.org. So call, write, email, text. Would love to talk.
Send a pigeon, send something. Yes, no, I really encourage you folks. Again, mom wants to move in. You want to talk to Bruce about trying to duplicate something like this in your community. We have to figure out, folks. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot. We got to figure out how we're going to house all these people, because you probably also heard me say we're already seeing it and I don't want to see more. And unfortunately, we will. And that's seniors living under the awning of a bank building on the street corner and having to deal with the heat of the summer and the freezing cold of the winter. We have to figure this out. I very much thank Bruce for what he's doing, joining us today. Please reach out to him, folks. And until we meet again, have yourself an awesome day.